If you lose one chicken, you have lost about 50,000 naira. What does a high performing layer poultry farm like this, what does it really cost? It's not actually the cost of the birds. As you can see, they are very healthy. Neither is it the cost of the cages that you are seeing. Yeah, of course, what we have here is the hot dip galvanized cages. A couple of people will go for the cheaper alternative, but regardless of the cage that you choose, the true cost of a high performing layer poultry farm is actually the things that will provide them with comfort and protection. Those are the things I will be measuring on in this video, but before the end of the video, I will also show you the true cost of 1,000 poultry farm. So if you have 1,000 pullets coming, all that it will cost you from the point you buy the pullets and to the point they start to lay and beyond that, I'll show you raw data of that. But in this video, I'm going to be showing you the true cost of a high performing layer poultry farm. So these birds you are seeing here are currently around 36 weeks of age, and they are producing around 92% daily egg production, and that's incredible. So they are in their peak, and we trust that we'll be able to sustain that peak for a couple of months to be able to generate high return. So number one thing you want to face is that protection part, and that's what we'll talk about: biosecurity. Yeah, don't say biosecurity is that word that is overused. Not everybody even understand the concept of biosecurity. So you want to ensure that you protect these birds because they are your investments, and everything you can do to protect your investment is worth it. For example, on this farm we have a worker who has his brother nearby on another farm, and you know, just because we are protecting our birds, the brother is actually banned from entering this place. As family, they can get along, and before long he gets to walk into the pen coming from another farm. We can't allow that. So that's the extent we are willing to go just to ensure that we protect our birds. And the food dip at the entrance is also something we don't joke with. You want to ensure that there's a barrier such that people don't just have access to your pen and facilities. They don't have access to your equipment, the things that you take from. As a matter of fact, most of the things that we use inside here, for example, Easy, give me that broom. Most of the things that we use inside here remain here. And by the time we expand into, yeah, that long broom. So by the time we expand into the second pen and the third pen, we are going to be ensuring that all the tools that we are using for each pen remain in the pen. So, for example, this one does not go out. It remains inside here. All right. So that protection part is very vital, is very key. And I tell you, if you can establish this and make sure that you adhere to it, you adhere to strict biosecurity protocol, you are going to be minimizing the number of times you have headaches, you know, the birds fall sick and all that. And then I'm just going to jump on that biosecurity and talk about comfort. Comfort is the other thing. Yeah, I could say comfort is actually the ultimate goal. You want to make sure that you put them in a comfortable space, and it's actually because you want them to be comfortable that you are even protecting them in the first place. Don't forget, before the end of the video, I'm going to show you a raw data of how much it will cost you to run 1,000 poultry or 1,000 layer farm. All right, so for comfort, you want to ensure that the house is constructed properly. So you can see this is, what time is it now? So this is 4:53 p.m. And one of the advantages of following the east-west orientation is this. So 4:53, you can see the sun is actually pouring on me on this part of the pen, and this is a short part. No, the pen is this long, so on this side we don't have sun coming into the pen. On this side we don't have sun coming into the pen. It can only enter from this part, and it won't really go far. The reason why it's even getting to this point is because the sun is about to set. It's about 5 p.m. and before long the sun will set. So there's just a minimal disturbance it can cause. And for those who like to manage so much, you can see we have left almost 3 meters from the point where this cage stops to the beginning of the pen, and even at that we still have this much penetration. So for those of you who you have a PhD in space management and you want your pen to be really close to the fence so that we don't even have much space, much gap in front of the pen, in front of the cage, you know, you can see the detriment now. Imagine that these cages even spread forward and we have just 1 meter between the cage and the wall, there's going to be some form of penetration that you don't want. Let's imagine that we did not follow this east-west orientation. It means that this is about from that point, from the front of the house to this point is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 5.5 meters. It's about 5.5 meters. And if you want to know, these pens usually are between, some people do 7.5 meters. That's too narrow in my opinion. 8.5, 9 meters, that's not bad. So if we have, let's even say the maximum 9 meters, and the sun already penetrates 5.5 meters, I mean, it has covered the whole cage already. So that's the disadvantage of following the north-south orientation. A lot of people would not know that, and they have already constructed the house. You know, I've been on several farms where they called me to come and consult for them late, that's after construction and all that. And by the time you get there, you just see that there's so much blunder from the construction stage. So you don't want your pen to be facing the north-south orientation. It has to be the east-west, so that the worst case, that's in the morning when the sun is rising from that other hand, we also have minimum of 3 meters at the back, so there's not so much penetration of the sun into the pen. And you know, after a while it gets overhead and the chickens are just fully protected, and until evening again it comes towards this part and they're just okay. So in that case, you won't have so much heat stress in the pen, and the birds will be good. If they are subjected to heat stress, that alone will not cause them to heat. They won't heat as much as they should. They will only drink water, and these things that you see is because of the feed that you are giving them, that they will lay so much egg that they can give us 92% production. So if they heat less, they probably be giving us 76%, and that's bad for the business. So again, don't forget, what is the cost? What does it cost to have a high performing layer poultry farm? So I've talked about the orientation of the pen, the construction. We want to ensure that everywhere is clean. I so much love the way that the attendants have been cleaning this place. Most times when I get here, you know, everywhere is just, it's sane. You know, you get in here and you can have your lunch, you can have your breakfast. Everywhere is clean. You can walk the entire length of the pen without any funny smell. So the manure is being cleaned every other day, and by the time we install the scrapers, the scraper is still back there. We are waiting for the generator to come. By the time we install the scraper, it is easy to move it on a daily basis, but because it's still done manually, they are moving it every other day. And this place is still sane. I mean, it's still clean. I'm going to show you what the manure looks like in a bit. The more you allow the manure to stay under the cage, the higher the chances of infections, the higher the chances that they come up with lice, you know, lice infestation, and then other infection, ammonia buildup and all that, and then it will affect egg production. These are the things that people don't lay emphasis on. These are the things that they don't consider so much, and it affects their production. And they'll say, oh, layer farming is crazy, you know. So one time they are performing really well, and before you know it, everything just goes down, you know. It's the same thing with humans. One time you are moving, and the next moment, because that guy is not checking his blood pressure, you just hear that, okay, that guy just slumped. It's because something had been going wrong in the system all along, but you never paid attention to it. So if something is going on with your management, if things were not managed properly, then you will not get the kind of results that you expect. One other thing I would like to mention is the level of experience or expertise that your farm workers have. Can they spot a disease when they see a bird having that abnormal behavior? Can they tell? It is important because there are some diseases that can come into the pen and it can be controlled, like within 2-3 days you have controlled it when you spot it early. You don't want to start a poultry farm and employ people who don't have any experience. At least you need one person for a single pen like this. At least you need one person who knows what to do, who knows what to look out for, and can also tell or instruct or train the attendants. One of the key things you also need to do is, because these birds lay more in the morning, I mean, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. in the morning, you get most of the eggs laid. So that period is a critical time. You don't want your workers going to sleep or cooking or some 3 hours kind of meal. You want them, after serving the birds, walking around the pen from time to time, observing, staying close to the chickens so that they can hear if there's anything, any sound of discomfort coming from the pen, because it could be that one bird is trying to lay and the others are trying to peck on it, and if you are able to intervene in time, that means you are going to be stopping that occurrence and saving the life of a chicken. As poultry farmers, we don't see the chickens as one chicken. When you hold a chicken, so as poultry farmers, when we hold a chicken like this, a layer chicken, what we see is not one chicken. What we see is 320 eggs in a year. So if this chicken can give us 320 eggs in a year, that means it's capable of producing over 10 crates in a year. So if a layer chicken dies, you have lost 10 crates at least. You have lost 10 crates in a year. And 10 crates, the equivalent of 10 crates now is about 50,000 naira. So you can see, if you lose one chicken, you have lost about 50,000 naira. Do you really want to lose 50,000 naira? No. And that's one. What about if you lose 2, 3, 10, 20? And I tell you, if you don't employ professionals and you allow those guys who don't know what to do, if you allow them man your farm, they will not even report mortalities to you. In some cases, you will come to the farm and find out that the birds that were stocked, maybe they were 2,000, you'll find out that they are now 1,500. And they'll say, oh, God, we were meaning to tell you, but we forgot. So now I'm going to be showing you that raw data that shows you what it costs to have or to own and operate a 1,000 capacity layer farm. But if you forget anything at all in this video, do not forget that the real cost of owning a Mercedes-Benz or a Toyota Corolla, a Lexus RS 350 is not the cost of the car. It's the cost of fueling it, the fuel economy, is the cost of replacement parts, how available are the parts, do you have to import them? And it's similar when we talk about these birds. The real cost of a layer poultry farm is what it takes to make sure that they are high performing birds. And while you go through the cost of running a 1,000 capacity layer poultry farm, if you think you've enjoyed this video, I want you to click that like button. If you are yet to subscribe to the channel, this is Feathers Pro. I want you to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future uploads. My name is Opeyemi. I'm your #1 animal scientist and your poultry success partner. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.